Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, in this country and in the world, there are no end to stories and situations that Black people are facing where law enforcement approaches them and the situation gets out of control. The situation is escalated to a point where there is danger. There is no end to stories such as this. And so the story that I'm about to share with you now is talking about a Black Army officer who was held at gunpoint during a traffic stop. He indicated that he was afraid to get out of his car. And the police responded, "You should be." Now, keep in mind that this Army second lieutenant who was held at gunpoint was in his uniform. And so many different commands were thrown at him. They're telling him to put his hands out of the vehicle. Then they're telling him to turn the vehicle off, which would have required that he put his hands back in the vehicle. Then they're telling him to take his seatbelt off, which would have required that he reach down toward his waist. And so this man is like, okay, all of these commands, guns pointed at me. I'm a Black man. It's nighttime, you see, and I'm getting all these different commands telling me to do varying things. And so he decided, which was a very wise choice, to just keep his hands outside of the vehicle. Even when they were telling him to open the door, that would have meant he again would have had to reach his hand back into the vehicle. And so you and I both know that many times that excuse has been used, especially telling him to unsnap his seatbelt. They could have very well say, well, he was reaching for a weapon. So wisdom told him to keep his hands outside of the vehicle. Okay. Anyway, I want you all to take a listen to other details surrounding this story. And as you listen, pay very close attention to the things that are being said. And I will be right back with additional commentary.
A Black Army officer held at gunpoint during traffic stop was afraid to get out of his car. "You should be," police said. Karen Nazario had his arms raised in fear from the window of his newly purchased SUV when two police officers held the Army second lieutenant at gunpoint during a traffic stop in Windsor, Virginia. Body camera video shows Virginia officers hold Army officer at gunpoint. Nazario was confused as to why police were yelling for him to exit the car last December for not having a permanent rear license plate, according to a federal lawsuit filed this month. When Nazario told police on December 5, 2020, that he was honestly afraid to get out of the car, the officer replied, "Yeah, you should be." From there, body cam footage shows police pepper spraying, striking and handcuffing the 27-year-old, and using a slang term suggesting that he would face execution, the complaint says. The lawsuit claims police also threatened to end Nazario's military career if he spoke out about the incident. "I'm serving this country, and this is how I'm treated," said Nazario, according to body cam video. Nazario, who is Black and Latino, filed a lawsuit this month against Windsor officers Joe Gutierrez and Daniel Crocker alleging excessive force that the lieutenant says was due to racial profiling. The federal lawsuit obtained by the Washington Post, which was filed in the Eastern District of Virginia on April 2, is seeking at least $1 million in damages and for the court to rule that Gutierrez and Crocker violated his constitutional rights, specifically the Fourth Amendment. "Short of people getting murdered, it's the most egregious conduct I've seen on film by police," Jonathan Arthur, Nazario's attorney, said to the Post. Neither Windsor Police Chief Rodney Riddle nor Mayor Glenn Willis immediately returned requests for comment Saturday. A town manager told the Virginian Pilot that Gutierrez and Crocker still work for the police department. The lawsuit comes as the nation continues to deal with incidents of excessive force involving police and people of color. The state of Virginia last year passed a slew of criminal justice changes that addressed policing. New laws took effect last month to limit the use of deadly force by police in Virginia, including a ban on certain dangerous policing tactics that have been a focal point of discussion during the trial of Derek Chauvin and the death of George Floyd. The body cam footage of Nazario's incident went viral over the weekend, with his name trending on Twitter into Saturday. These cameras captured footage of behavior consistent with a disgusting nationwide trend of law enforcement officers who, believing they can operate with complete impunity, engage in unprofessional, discourteous, racially biased, dangerous and sometimes deadly abuses of authority, the lawsuit says. According to the complaint, Nazario, a Health Services Administration's officer at the Virginia National Guard, was still in uniform when he was driving home on December 5. His Chevrolet Tahoe was so new that the Department of Motor Vehicles hadn't given Nazario permanent plates, so he had cardboard temporary plates taped to the inside of the vehicle. Body cam footage of the night shows that the temporary tags were visible on the car. Crocker initiated a traffic stop on Route 460 around 6:30 p.m. because Nazario was lacking a rear license plate, not seeing the temporary plate in the car window, the lawsuit claims. He was soon joined by Gutierrez in Windsor, a small town about 30 miles west of Norfolk. Not wanting to pull over in the dark on a busy road, Nazario slowed down and pulled into a well-lit BP gas station, which took less than 2 minutes, Arthur said. By doing this maneuver, one that police later said happens all the time, Gutierrez told authorities that his training and experience indicated to him that Nazario was almost certainly a minority, according to the lawsuit. The officers considered it a felony traffic stop, causing them to draw their weapons and demanding Nazario obey their order to get out of the car. Seeing that the situation had escalated, Nazario hit record on his phone and set it on the dashboard of his car. "What's going on?" Nazario calmly asked the officers, who were not answering his question. "You're fixin' to ride the lightning, son," Gutierrez said, according to Nazario's cell phone video, invoking a colloquial term for execution by electrocution. Later on, Gutierrez is heard threatening to use a taser on the man. Arthur said Ride the Lightning was most famously referenced in the movie The Green Mile, a film about a black man facing execution. Shortly after police refused to say why they had their guns drawn on Nazario, they pepper sprayed him multiple times, according to video. "This is F up, Nazario said, adding that he was trying to breathe. "This is really messed up." When a blinded Nazario struggled to take off his seatbelt and exit the car, Gutierrez said to him, "You made this way more difficult than it had to be if you just complied." Then, Nazario got out of the car and asked for their supervisor. In response, and out of the video's field of view, Gutierrez delivered knee strikes to the Army officer's legs, which knocked him to the ground, the lawsuit claims. Nazario's attorney says the two officers proceeded to hit the lieutenant some more before handcuffing him. During the encounter, Gutierrez could be heard saying to Nazario on his body-worn camera, "I get it, the media spewing race relations between law enforcement and minorities, I get it." According to the lawsuit, the officers threatened to destroy his military career if Nazario spoke out about the incident. Nazario was allegedly told by police that if he would chill and let this go, then the officers would not press baseless charges of their own against him and would release him, records show. In an incident report from Gutierrez that's included in the lawsuit, the officer claimed that his decision to release Nazario without charges was made because he didn't want the military to take punitive actions against him. "Being a military veteran, I did not want to see his career ruined over one erroneous decision," Gutierrez wrote. In an interview Saturday, Arthur, Nazario's attorney, said that his client seeking at least $1 million in damages is meant to send a message to officers that this type of behavior will not be tolerated. Since the encounter with police, Nazario, a graduate of Virginia State University, has had recurring nightmares and gets freaked out whenever he sees law enforcement, Arthur said. "It just blows my mind that two officers thought they could get away with it," Arthur said. "He did everything right."
Okay, as you've heard in the reporting, there was so much going on here, and I wanted to point out some of the comments that I read under the video that was posted on YouTube of this incident. A lot of people were saying, why didn't he just comply? Why didn't he just get out of the vehicle? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? These are clearly people who don't care to understand the plight of black people when they are encountering police or when they have a police encounter. They don't care to understand because when you comply, you can be killed. When you move too slowly, you can be killed. When you do anything, you can be killed, right? There were situations where when the law requires you to tell an officer that you have a weapon, there was an incident with Philando Castile where he said, look, officer, I just want to let you know I have a weapon. He was still killed. He didn't reach for the weapon. He didn't do anything. All he did was comply with the law that says to let them know. And in doing so, he lost his life. And guess what? Those officers, they went free. And so what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? In this situation, thankfully, the black lieutenant did not lose his life. But again, you have those who are very insensitive to the plight of so-called black people to where they do not care to hear your explanation. Now, it's very clear in this story that they were overreaching in their authority against this man. They didn't care that he was serving the country. They didn't care that he did have his temporary plate affixed to the window, in which that is what the law requires. If you have a new vehicle and you don't have your plate yet, the law requires that you put it in the window. And so even with the officers not even trying to assess the situation first, they came with their guns drawn. Since when do you have your guns drawn when you are dealing with a traffic stop? Had they asked the guy, he could have told them, well, the reason I don't have a plate is because I have a temporary plate in the window because this was a vehicle I just purchased. But they didn't do that. They came with guns drawn. Now, the reason why, another one of the statements that were being made in the comment section was, why did it take him so long to pull over? Well, this Army lieutenant, knowing the plight of black people in this country and in the world, he decided, look, I better get to a well-lit place so that others can witness this. And so he drove to a gas station, in which a lot of times they tell women to do that if you feel like your life may be in danger. Go to a gas station or a well-lit parking lot or a grocery store parking lot or some place where there can be other people around to witness what's happening. And so this Army lieutenant, fearing for his life, he used wisdom in doing that. So anyone who can't understand that because you don't have to go through what we go through, then that's your problem. But that's what we are faced with in this country, where people don't care to know nor understand how we feel and what we face. And this has happened for so very long. And so you will have those who will understand. People of varying races, I saw in the comment section, understood why this guy did what he did. Okay, but you will always have those who just have this thing embedded in them that they're going to go against you regardless if you're right or not, if you are black. You have those who are just going to go against you because they can't bear to be on your side even when you are right. And so I just wanted to share this story with you all. This is nothing new in this country. We've seen this so many times, so many different stories, many of them ending tragically, where the person actually loses their life. They lose their life. But we want to share this with you and get your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this case? Also, got a little update since last night. The officers apparently have been fired, which is great news. But also the man, the black Army lieutenant, is filing a lawsuit. And hopefully he is victorious in that. Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, share and like this video. And with that, I am out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel. And also comment, share, like, and subscribe.